has been about 3 years on and off of writing this book, and I think that it is just about ready to finally be published, which is um, something that I honestly never thought that I would follow through on, and to be able to like kind of like flip through it, that I have it printed out right here, to kind of flip through it, it's like a decent amount of shit, and it's like to say that I set this goal for myself and I was able to follow through on it, and kind of see my own words on like printed paper is really something that there's not a lot like it, which is awesome. But for those of you who don't know, my name is Noah. I write under the name Swiss, and that's also the name for all of my social media accounts. Um, there's a bit of a story about that, but so yeah, I've been talking about this book for a while on a couple of my different platforms, and I think that a lot of you have kind of, if you've been following me for a little while, you've noticed that um, I write, I speak occasionally, and I enjoy kind of like sharing my opinions and perspectives on different um, beliefs and commonalities between people in like the mental health um, area. And this last year, I would say, was when I really started to take a good step in the right direction, for kind of developing my own style of writing and writing more about things that pertained to me and my experiences rather than just general topics that I found on the internet. And I think that was when, like, this idea that, like, I've been wanting to write this book, I have material for it, and none of it was forced for the book. It was genuinely just because it helped me a lot, and I feel like that this is like one of the most raw depictions of depression and kind of what results from experiencing it. And when I was like really in the depths of it and going through that, I remember trying to find things on the internet that like could help explain like why I felt a certain way and why I didn't really feel like I had full control over it. And like there was just this constant noise that I was like dealing with. And I found that the things that helped me the most were to write about it and kind of get it out of my head and try to attempt to make sense of it, or otherwise to talk about it with somebody. But the thing about talking about it was that I generally like hated explaining how I felt and attempting to like give some bullshit reason because I didn't really understand why. And to try to explain something you don't understand to somebody else who's just trying to understand is really aggravating. And it's something that I think a lot of people go through, but they like kind of get forced, so they just make up shit just to kind of get off the hook. Um, so I tried therapy for a while, and that was just not something that like really helped me a lot. And I tried a multiple of them, and a lot of people were telling me that yeah, so like that helps me a lot, and you just gotta find the right person. And just for me, the right people were the people I'd already surrounded myself with, like my friends, um, who were kind of going through not the same exact thing, but similar periods of um, not feeling so good. And they're my age, and they're living in the same hometown and stuff like that. So they kind of understand where I was coming from. And those were honestly the best sessions when we would just be sitting, like all of us just sitting on the couch, just kind of talking about that stuff. But that's not always available to people, and it wasn't always available to me. So writing about it was really the main contributing factor to kind of getting better, and like fixing myself. I hate using that term, but when you felt like that for so long, it genuinely feels like there's a part of you that just is like built incorrectly or something like that. And fixing it is like the term that you just kind of stick to. You're just like, I need to fix myself. Like there's something wrong. It's not like eventually I guess it can be a form of acceptance, but for me, I always found it was just better to try to find something that I could fix and just do whatever I could to fix that. Um, and writing was one of those outlets that I found that made me feel like I was really like doing something to fix this, even if I didn't like know exactly what it was. Um, like I still felt like I was like moving in the right direction. But so yeah, throughout this book, I kind of just I like dissect like all the different feelings and um, like versions of yourself you kind of go through when you're dealing with this. And I kind of attack a lot of like more mature topics in this rather than just saying like. And one of the other reasons I wrote this was because all of the books and other like material and articles that I read about this were just like like you just need to like schedule your time better and like get outside more and spend more time with family and friends and just be kinder to yourself. And it's just like that's like those are certainly helpful things, but when you're at the point where you can like barely like keep yourself clean and get out of bed and like find the energy to do any work at all in any of your classes, is like focusing on my scheduling and like what I eat and how much I'm outside. Those things just feel so like useless and intangible because you're like, if I can barely get out of bed, how am I supposed to like use my time wisely and productively and not scroll? It's like it's just not a realistic piece of advice for someone who's struggling with this kind of stuff. And I'm kind of like tired of reading that stuff because it's promoted as like, oh, like your brain is really just something that you just need to like give it a schedule and it'll feel better. You gotta give it some more light and it'll feel better. It's like something just you can't explain it and that you just don't feel good. And I mean, it makes you do stupid stuff. So I kind of talk a lot about that, and I dive into like those stupid things that I did, and in an attempt to feel better. And it's like looking back at those kind of things, I'm just like I'm filled with like a certain amount of regret, but I'm also filled with like I'm not proud of the person who did those things to myself, but it's like what I did was better than the alternative, and I think we all know what the alternative is. And it's like if you can get through it, however you're gonna get through it, like just you gotta do it. You like sometimes and I know a lot of people aren't gonna agree with that, but it's like you can't just stop. Like there's not. It's like once you've identified a strategy that while it might not be good for you, it helps you a little bit. It satiates your brain so that you're allowed to like think about something else and like try to go focus and do some work and get something done and hang out with people. It's like if that is what you need to do for that moment to just try to get a little bit better and give your mind a little clarity so that you can kind of start to fight this thing. It's like then I think you have to do it. And that's not a popular opinion, but it's something that when I kind of go back and dissect all of that, it's truly what like needed to happen. And I'm past that part in my life where that was something that I was doing every day, and for this is different for everybody, but for me, it's like I don't know. It's just like I'm not mad at myself for doing it. I think that if I didn't do it, I don't know if I would like I don't know if everything would be the same right now. So, um, I mean I think that's kind of where my subtitle comes from, which is from destruction comes salvation. It's like sometimes you gotta break off little pieces of yourself to like make sure the good ones don't get infected. So, um, that's a little rundown of my book, and it's kind of structured in individual essays rather than a full book, like continuous like novel, for example. And there's a lot of different styles in it. There's some, I guess, poetry-esque type of writing, informative essay type of writing, creative essay type of writing, and then honestly just like pure purges, which were like in the form of like notes and just lines and thoughts and poor grammar and um, you know, so I think it's just like one of those things that you either get it and like you do, or you don't. So that's what my book is about. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. I really hope that when you read it, you are able to identify with some of the things in there and maybe approach the things that you're struggling with at a different angle now that you understand that like you're not the only one feeling that way. And that's honestly one of the most important things is to understand that you're not alone. Like no matter how horrible you feel or just wherever you are in the current moment, what you're doing to yourself, how you're feeling when you wake up, it's like you always got like at least one person, including yourself, or not including yourself. So it's like, but you just have to. It's okay to reach out. It's like, and I think a lot of us, when we feel this way, it's very easy for us to say, that, oh, like if they cared, they would reach out. If they cared, they would reach out. But sometimes people don't really understand that kind of stuff, and they don't catch on to it, and they don't reach out because they genuinely don't recognize it. And we can't blame them for that. This is our personal problem. This is something we're struggling with. If we need help, we can't expect someone to come to our rescue and just say, hey, like, I noticed you're doing this. Like, I wanted to check on you, make sure you're okay. Sometimes you gotta go and ask for help yourself because a lot of people are just waiting for the like chance to like give you advice or like get you some help. So I think we have to have a little bit more trust in people that we have in our lives and understand that they might not fully get it, and we have to be patient with them because losing important friendships and relationships because you don't feel good is not going to help you in any way. It's just going to make it so much worse. So, um, like, be considerate. Like, I understand that we're dealing with a lot, and you can't always do everything about it. But like, if you start burning bridges, it's just going to make it that much harder. And you got to realize that this is something that you are personally fighting. But you're not alone, right, kid? So, this is a little kind of introduction to my book. It's still April. If you guys have like questions or anything like that, feel free to ask. But I'm pretty much done with it. I'm looking to release it January 2026. So we'll see how that goes. And for now, I just wanted to thank you all for supporting kind of this adventure or like just kind of me like figuring something out and like finally putting stuff like into a connected thing and like finally like doing something, like I have something to show for it. So I appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoy it if you do end up getting it. So thank you.